Hey, what's up, guys? Trying to get some more shop equipment up and running. Today's project's going to be I'm hoping, a simple one. It's really just trying to refurbish and get this old sandblast cabinet working. It's the ALC Sandy Jet abrasive blasting cabinet. It's a model, what is this thing? It's 40390. Tabletop version. It was kind of converted. I'm going to put you on the tripod and kind of show you what I got going on. Just trying to do a simple cleanup job and trying to restore it so it's actually usable again. And I'll kind of give you a little history of how I acquired it, really for free. Well, this is my abrasive parts sandblaster. I acquired this some years ago. I ended up holding on to it for like around 8 months. My neighbor had it, and he come over one day and he's hanging out in my shop, and he seen a little halogen spotlight that I had. It was brand new, sitting on my table, that I acquired for free. And he asked me would I like to trade. He's me and him kind of like doing a lot of bartering. So I said, well, sure, can't really beat a sandblast cabinet. But at the time, I didn't have my shop really set up for to be able to have it in here comfortably. But I ended up getting it, and what this is, the ALC Sandy Jet. They're sold, I believe, at Northern Tool. At least that's where I found where you can buy some of the odd parts. A while back ago, I bought a whole bag of new abrasive material to put back in it. It's full of different sand and stuff that I had in it with the intentions of using it the first go around. Went ahead and picked up some new, I believe these are the steel nozzles. It's got the tip, and it's got the little inner piece, and that helps kind of direct the airflow. This is 15 CFM. It's for the siphon style that's in here. So I ended up picking up the media. I couldn't find another one of these, and I'm not sure if this is the original. The original should have a piece of some kind of sticky stuff that goes on the inside to protect it. So I got thinking, well, how can I make this more usable? So what I did, looked around the shop, and I had a piece of clear plexi, which is a lot more, even though it's scratched up, I can actually see through it better than what's on here. Then I got thinking, well, what can I do to make this a little bit better? And I'm going to obviously need some kind of seal, and this seal is kind of hardened up. So when I installed the window AC in here, I had got some of this single-sided foam tape, I guess is what you'd call it, the sealant. I figured I could split this right down the center and tape it to the piece of plexiglass, and that should give me some kind of seal. But what's funny is, getting back to the story how I acquired it, so I traded my neighbor that halogen light, so I didn't have nothing in it. It was given to me free, and I really didn't have a use for it, just going to sit in the shop. Traded it to him, had this thing 8 months, it was inside and outside the shop, couldn't really find a spot. Then I turned around and sold it to my buddy for I think 40 bucks, 20 bucks, something. I mean, it was just something ridiculously cheap. Got it back for the same exact amount what he gave me for it. So in the end, we basically swapped right back around. He didn't. He had it for about like 4 years, and he never got a use out of it. So it's back in my shop, and I figure it's time being that we go ahead and get this thing working again. Well, just goofing around right here. It's a very tiny little little nuts they put on these little tiny bolts. Oh, thank God I saved it. Trying to actually remove them without losing them. Not to say I don't keep enough the nuts and bolts and all kind of stuff in the parts bin. Yeah, I guess we'll. And when I say small, pretty clever idea. You can kind of see what I got. Has the little head rusty. Not that big of a deal, but reusing hardware is definitely a way to save money. Especially just trying to refurbish something that I'm trying not to put a lot of cost into. It's from what I've understood, these are a very good unit. Just with like anything else, you just got to put some care and attention into there. And I figure, well, for what I've got little to nothing in it, why not try to save it? Well, this is that piece of plexi taken off, and you can kind of see, or not see, it's very hazy, which if you don't have the protective cover, it will continue to do this. I just happen to have some scrap clear pieces. I mean, you can kind of see the difference side by side This one, after probably a bunch of continuous use, will not be clear either, but for the time being, I think it'll work for me to just try to go ahead and, just like I said, get this thing back operational. Let me see if I can get you guys in here for a closer look. Get y'all somewhat in here without making y'all dizzy. Hopefully you can kind of see in here somewhat. But you know what, let me just take y'all off the tripod if I'm able to do it. There we go. Kind of see, when I got it, this bracket was kind of sitting back here. There's this bracket and some other stuff. This glove was loose, and it's still loose. Going on at least 5-6 years later. But I went ahead and popped these loose, and I'm guessing these were made, if they didn't come with it, which I think the picture I seen online, I think they come in there, and I'm gonna assume that it's for hanging small parts. Let's try to leave all the extra sand we can. So I'm not exactly sure what those were used for. What else? I thought we had some other stuff in here. Another little bracket of sorts. Yeah, I probably won't use that again, but I guess, let me see what else. Oh, I'm guessing this might be part of the hose that siphons. Somebody, which I don't know if this grating belongs in here either, but what I'm going to do is go ahead and pull that grating and go ahead and reattach this glove using that right there. So I guess what I'll do, I'll go ahead and do that off camera. It shouldn't take but a minute or two. I'll go ahead and try to get this glove back on and go ahead and pull this grating, and I guess try to go ahead and finish pulling this, or pull the grating, and we'll try to figure out how to get the sand out of here. I got one of the grates out. I was able to push all the sand and whatever mix that's in there. I was able to kind of get it all in the bottom. Now I'm at the point of trying to figure out how am I going to get all the sand out of here. Obviously I have tools down here. I didn't want to get it all over my tools. Went ahead and got a little Home Depot bucket. So I'm trying to devise some kind of way I can get the sand to come down to me without going all over the place. And you know what's funny? Every time you have a handy dandy screwdriver out, it seems like it gets misplaced. Ah, there we go. So the goal is to try to get the sand to slide straight down this. Make sure y'all can kind of see what's going on. Let me flip all this around. Now, I guess that works. Alright guys, got the cabinet cleaned out, got the little mesh back in the bottom. So it's basically on its way to being usable again. But before I do anything else, what I'm going to do is stop and go ahead and put a light in this. They sell a light kit, but I'm just not willing to pay what they're asking. Trip to Home Depot literally cost me little to nothing. This box was like, I think 70 cents. Light switch, $1.19. This was probably the priciest one. I think it was maybe $3. And I had the cord to something that I've cut off, and I save a lot of these because you never know what you're going to use them for. So what I was thinking is to make one of the simplest light kits that I can do. What I'm thinking is take one of these. If everything works out just proper, we're going to just pull one of the little, what they call them, punch outs. And that's all you do is literally punch it out, rock it a couple times, and it comes right out. And as you notice, it just gives me, I believe this is a 1/2 inch hole. So we don't need that little part. That will be for the outside of the box. That will be some kind of switch holder. And I went ahead and purchased this inexpensive little switch. That will be mounted inside there. And to top it off, nice little cover. So we're just going to keep this very simple. As far as mounting the light, this is what I basically thought. If this actually works, basically we're just going to unwrap this kit, get all this off to the side. It gives me a little, what do you call that, gasket for the inside. Hopefully that will work for what I'm trying to do. But what I'm thinking is leave this little a little nut on here. What I'm going to do is drill a hole from the outside of the cabinet the same diameter as this, trying to give me just enough room to catch there. So it'll go through the plastic of the cabinet, kind of be inserted like this. And what I did is I scavenged this off something else, and I'll tighten it up inside the box, which it'll have whatever direction I set the bulb in. Which I just might leave it just the same as this. Just go ahead and hook it up. And since I went ahead and did one of the punch outs, what I'm going to do is I did the one at the very top on the back side, and we'll go ahead and pick the punch out here at the very bottom, and that's really all it is. Well, alright, I guess here goes nothing. So I'm going to figure out from the inside where I would like the bulb. Definitely some thick plastic. Alright, so what I'm going to do is watch the size of that hole as it gets bigger. And from what I see, this feels like, I want to say like double layer plastic. It's either very double layered or it's very, very thick. And just a hair more. Alright guys, I tried to get y'all a little bit better angle. Hopefully, I'm hopefully showing you what I'm doing. What I just went ahead and did is I went ahead and took the unit back out. The little supplied nut, it kind of hindered me more than helped, because I was able to, let me see what this, I got a step bit on here, and I think I want to say this is 3/4, but possibly I've rubbed all the numbers off. I believe it's 3/4 or very close to it, might be even 1/2 inch, I'm not really sure. Just happened to be it was the correct size, and it was able to let me bite into the side of this thick plastic just by screwing it in. So by removing this, it kind of gave me about 1/8 of an inch more it could come out, and it's definitely tight on there. But still need to be able to mount this, and that was my original idea, was to still put it on here, slide it through, and as you can see, the switch itself will still be, it'll just basically hang to the plastic by using the nut. But what I'm going to do is actually go ahead and do a little bit of pre-wiring and stuff to make it easy for myself, so I'm not working in this very tight confined space. Well, what I got here is, this is one of the little clamps that I bought. I hope I bought the right ones, at least for the MC cable, because I do want to run power to this other side of my shop for the air compressor, parts washer, a little mini fridge, sandblast cabinet light. So I went ahead and picked up a lot of stuff yesterday, keep trying to improve the shop. So basically you just undo the little nut right there off the bottom of it, slide, or go ahead and place it right where you want it, the right cutout, and just screw it back on. Sometimes these are easy, sometimes they're a pain, it just all depends. But it's easier to go ahead and try to wire this, or part of it, right now than having to do this thing later. Alright guys, well, what I got now, I've got my power in and power out. What I'm going to do is go ahead and take both of the white wires and just go ahead and kind of twist them together a little, and just put a wire nut right on them. That's going to be part one, because I'm not going to interrupt. The black is the common, so I'm not trying to really interrupt the power on that. So that's it. That will just get shoved in the back of the box. Now what I got is the top one here, if you can see it pretty well, hopefully. The top one is going to my fixture, and the bottom one is coming in from the power source. So I guess what I'm going to go ahead and do is connect the switch, and I don't want to be up in your way, but there's the switch right there. It'll be the hot coming in from it'll go to the bottom. So when the switch is flipped on, it will continue the loop to the top, which will pass it through back to the fixture. Well, need a light bulb, and it looks like this is a good one. You know what? I also need power. Just try to hold the light bulb without breaking it. Oops. borrow power off that. I guess let me go around and connect this up. I was thinking I was all ready for the shot, and I was like, yay. I'm like, let's try her out. And then I forgot to plug it in. Well, I wanted to go turn it on, but figure we'll screw this in here. So I put a 60 water. I don't think I need more than that. You know what? Let's kind of see if we can get the bird's eye view. Hell yeah. Made a light work. Does, at least it functions the way it's supposed to. I believe that will be definitely more than enough light, and this bulb shouldn't put out that much heat, but I am going to change this over to a CFL just so that way I get the brightness and not the heat, because I'm pretty well sure a lot of hours of sandblasting that bulb's going to give, or it's just going to get ridiculously hot in the cabinet. I had something fall down while I was putting all that, so well, I guess if I remove this too, ow, kind of see it's all empty. I guess the next step is going to be to try to figure out, I can't remember if I did find the tool. Let me get y'all set up on the tripod, and what I'm going to do is do a little bit of work to this to refurbish that, and we'll be moving on to doing the top. The reason it's time to get down to the paint gun itself, or apologize, not paint gun, sandblast gun, is let me go ahead and cut this open. Oh wow, you know what, if I even pay attention once, I'd have realized I didn't need to find an Allen wrench. It actually provides you with one. Never changed these out before, so I guess I'm kind of learning with y'all guys. Here's what we got. If you notice, this is the tip itself for the gun. Now again, I'm not particularly sure what they had in here, but I'm almost going to say this tip is wore out. You got to remember, sand's going through it in there. You can kind of see how it gets kind of funneled into the tip, then it goes from there right out. So since I didn't know nothing about it, I did some quick research to figure out what's there, what's not. So what I'm going to do is just carefully loosen up the back screw. And I remember there was something to it. I can't remember if it's push, pull. Might not even have it out enough. I can still hear the sand right in it. There we go. What it is, it's got a little indentation. Hopefully you can see that. It's got a little indentation that locks like a little set screw. Okay. So that's the trigger part. That's where the air itself comes up. And we're going to go ahead and release this front part. There's, I don't want to say it's an air regulator. I'm not exactly sure what it does, but I know it has something to do with the amount of, with how much air passes through it. It kind of regulates, I guess, I'm guessing the speed of what it does. Alright, I didn't want to do it, but I figured let's just do it the easiest way. I hope you can kind of see down in there, and what you're looking at, it's basically going to be like a hard rubber. And let's go ahead and just pull this out, make it easier for you guys to see it. This is the piece that regulates the air right here, and this is like a little rubber grommet or seal, and that's basically how it's going to fit in there, if I'm right. Actually, yeah, I believe that's how it fits, and it slides right in. Now the problem is I got one stuck in there, and I have the old nozzle as well stuck. Alright guys, I just grabbed it very firmly with the pliers off camera, gave her a nice little twist, and she came right out. Now this is what I mean by wore out jet. Now if you notice on this one, how it has kind of a cone, it leads you into a nice little, I guess it's a taper leading into the hole. And if you notice this one, now these are supposed to be the same exact size, because if I have the same jet control in the air, this is going to be the same size tips. So these are what goes together. Let me see, these are 1/4 inch. And for anybody wanting to see the package in case you have one of these, and like I said, that's the wore out jet. So I'm glad I'm going and doing this. Now that it's out, this is back to a basic body. That just slides in like so, goes all the way down. Take the little set screw, Make sure it's all the way in. Now that all the sand and everything that was basically keeping it stuck in place is gone, and we just barely tighten that set screw. Be careful not to strip these out. Well, that's done. The nozzle's in place. So go ahead and get our new little pieces. I just want to make sure, yeah, everything definitely looks the same. And this nut does nothing more than just slides right in, back down, and put the set screw right back in. It's got a little indention that it's going to seat down in, and we'll just snug her up. And that's all it really takes there. Alright guys, what I'm doing now, I'm just taking the old, what do you call this, the new plexiglass, laying it down. And what I'm going to do is just make this easy. I'm just going to basically trace the exact same thing that was there already. Just got to kind of line everything up. Gives me quick, easy lines. I'm not trying to, having to draw stuff out and re-square it and all that other stuff. Good enough. I'm going to lift this old junk piece that's going to the garbage now. Pretty well simple. I have a square, so what I'll do now is just take it over to the bandsaw and just give it a quick cutout. See what else I got here in this this piece, and this one seems a lot better. It's definitely thick all the way around, so that way I can kind of get the most out of this. What I'm going to do is just basically probably just eyeball it and split it right down the center the best I can. Went ahead and just took my little handy dandy rag, just gave her a quick wipe down. I guess what I'm going to do is kind of pick somewhere to start. I guess we'll do this bottom edge. I'll just go right up to the corner, and it's got adhesive on one side, so all I gotta do is pull a little piece of paper to basically reveal that. I don't know how bad I did, just kind of just freehand cutting it, I guess I want to say. But cool thing is, once you apply the foam, your dead edge isn't going to really be seen, so it kind of makes a good cover up. Well, now I guess it's time to put go ahead and start trying to mark these holes. I guess I'll go ahead and do all four, trying not to crack the plexi, otherwise I'm going to be all that work for nothing. Alright, went ahead and just bolted it back up to the original hinge, or the hinge that was already there. As you can see, it's definitely a lot clearer. I'm able to open it. I could put my part in. I got the grate back in. Still need to go ahead. I'm going to just put back some of them little... Actually, I'm not going to... I'll probably only put in one. So deciding if I want to put those little pieces that were in here. Cool part, flick a light on. Kind of take all this way. Kind of see we got how clear it is. I'm able to see what I'm doing, and I have a project, matter of fact, to do as soon as I get this thing done. So I guess let's drop in some blast media, and we got something to blast. I'll go ahead and do it with it. Got the new blast media ready. Oh, this sucker's heavy. What a better way, just let it pour in. Wow, this stuff is definitely different than what I've had in here. And I wasn't exactly sure what to put in here. There's so much recommendations. So I just kind of took a guess and said I'll try it for $10. Can't really hurt. should actually set this thing up where I can open it fully, but I got crap on top. So I guess this will work. Alright guys, now. What I'm going to do is go ahead and sandblast a couple of odds and ends. We got this plate here. I need to cut this out, but really I need to use this. This is for the hot rod golf cart project I'm working on. Giving away a little, spill some secrets on some upcoming projects, but I do need to get this plate completely cleaned up. It's real rusty. We got this Volkswagen, I guess it's a rear hood spring is what you would call it. And got a couple of other little minor pieces. So I figure, since I'm giving this thing a test, so some of this stuff needs to be done. What I'm going to do is just go ahead and toss it in there. I have my brand new bucket head vacuum from Home Depot. $20 and plus a $3 bucket, $2. That's the dust collection. I have it hooked up with 1 1/4 hose right into the top of the machine where the little outlet. Just pop loose a little plug. Got the light on, got clear enough where I can see, so I guess let's do this in fast forward mode. Let's get some stuff done. At least we can see if it works. It'll be the first time I've ever used this machine and seeing if it actually does something. Well, alright guys, I just got done here. Figured I'd pull some of these parts out. I still need to come back through and do a little bit more. Just had to get the hang of how to use this. Definitely knocked off a bunch of this heavy rust that was on some of these pieces right here. Here's the spring. I still got a fair amount. Like I said, the hardest part is to figure out how to keep the siphon going. Finally figured it out, but I just figured, hey, go ahead and pull these out of here, get a good look, see if I could take them apart any further. And the most important one for that project that I'm about to get started on, or actually I'm already on it, what I figured out is I was getting excess moisture in my tank. So you can see one side where I started, got it pretty decent. The other side, it's got a little browning onto it, but it knocked the rust off. But even I'm ashamed to say it, all that down there is water that came out of my tank. Went ahead and drained it. I couldn't believe the amount that I had going on. Well guys, I am about to get back on this project. So I appreciate y'all watching, staying tuned. Thumbs up as always. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching my channel.